All right, so first things first, it's dark out there. We're up in the Appalachians, so we got some security cameras, solar power. These things are bright, they're great, they're dirt cheap. We got two 200-watt solar panels, and that's going to go ahead and power up our do-it-yourself solar generator. Now, I saved you guys the trouble of watching me drill all these holes and then just stick these things through. They're very simple. You drill a hole, you twist this nut on, you tighten it, you're done. So the basic part is just lay everything out the way you want. There's 1,000 videos online for you how to do that. I'll show a couple of what we did, but we cut this out. This is the BMS monitor for our inverter. This is our inverter. Again, we're no way, shape, or form sponsored by, I guess, Belt or anybody. We're just using the cheapest stuff we can find on Amazon, and I'll tell you why. So we got 3 inputs. We got the remote for the BMS, and line, neutral, ground, and a USB. Now, since this kind of seems like it flows through there, and then this fan's output there, my thought is that we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna mount these fans that I got, these guys, and we're gonna mount one here. It's probably gonna be on the external, so we'll have to notch some of this out, but we're gonna put one here. It's gonna blow this way, and then we also got this Renner's charge controller. This is a PPT charge controller. So we're gonna mount this guy right here. We're gonna have the other fan behind it, and the goal, I think, that's why I notched this out with a multi-tool. Again, this is also why we chose this Bauer Harbor Freight stackable, because you can notch all this stuff out, and who really cares if you mess it up. It's not a fancy DeWalt like everything else that I own is DeWalt. So anyways, this is going to be where we mount this guy. I think that way all of our wiring kind of flows this way and stays this way. Our hard battery shut off is here. This is super easy. You drill a hole, you mount the screws. Our SAE connection for our input is here. Now this is your solar panels. There's all kinds of adapters. Don't really need to go into that. There's a million videos on that. But I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna mount this guy here, just like that. We're gonna mount that charge controller right there. That gets us really close to our battery cutoff. So we got nice short wires there. And then all this wiring will kind of just flow over to this side. We'll clean it up and get it going. Now the goal is to also have this guy charge. It's a 2-amp charger. We can charge from normal AC. I'm gonna hardwire this to the terminals, probably just Velcro it to the top of the battery. And we're gonna have an inlet right here in this top port, and it'll just plug in here. So the only time this will actually charge is when you actually plug an extension cord into here from the regular generator or house or whatever. You can charge your batteries overnight, keep them topped off, whatever. Now I put 2 of these inlets in. These are just inlets to plug in cords, and they have these really nice flexible extension cords, and those are just going to plug right into the inverter, just like so. Again, it's very nice. They're super flexible, so it'll fit just perfect the way we want it. I am going to add a third one here just because why not? It has 3 receptacles. We'll go ahead and use a third one there. We got some crimps we made yesterday. Again, this is how you get, you make sure some of that silicone, that's how you got a good heat seal on there, or heat shrink seal on there. Now the USB does come with this Y connector, so we could either plug this in right into the inverter and then power both. They do have this on and off, or on, off, and speed 1, 2, 3 switch, so we can kind of adjust that if we want to. So I can't decide whether or not I want to have them running all the time this thing is on, or if I want to tie them to one of these switches. Now, I'm all about symmetry, so I don't really like the fact that they gave us 5 of these switches and not 6. But anyways, we got one here. And the reason for the switches is we got this DC fuse box, right? So this DC fuse box is gonna go here, and it's gonna sit, you know, right there. Battery's gonna kind of sit right here in the center. And what we're doing with this is taking this, you know, positive from the switch, and we're going to the positive of the USB. Now, the negative of the switch, and this is counterintuitive, stay with me. This is, I know what I'm doing here. I'm a master electrician. I make the big bucks, right? So, negative of the switch, we're going to the positive of the DC fuse box. Negative of the USB will go to the negative of the DC fuse box. Why? You say, well, that's negative. Why would you do that? Well, think about it like water. How does water flow? How does electricity flow? I want electricity to come from the battery, which is connected to the fuse box, negative, positive, and I want it to get to this USB, which is negative and positive, okay? But I want to be able to do that without turning on this inverter, without turning on this charge controller or the fans, making all that noise. Also, there is ambient draw being utilized, just sitting there doing nothing, sucking battery juice. So I want to be able to have this switch in the off position, kill power to the whole unit, and just have the battery sitting there. The only thing the battery will be actually connected to is terminal blocks, which will be connected to the DC fuse box right here. So if we have a negative, quote unquote, to the positive of the fuse box, and then we have the positive to here, when we hit this switch, what happens? Well, we take our electricity from the positive side of the DC fuse box, it runs in through here, and then it comes out through here, and it comes into here. Now, again, you're just creating a pathway. All this switch is doing is breaking this pathway. It's breaking this pathway between these two terminals. Whether it's positive, negative, it doesn't care. Okay, so that's how we're doing it. I'll show you another quick video where I temp up these lights and I kind of demonstrate that. But anyways, so we got that. We got these fuses. We're gonna put this fuse in right at our SAE in, which is why I have these already kind of crimped. And cut a little bit. I got a ferrule on one. I got some heat shrink. I'm kind of right in the middle of doing that. But I got these lights, and I think I'm gonna mount them right here on the side. They're foldable, so I can kind of mount them. They'll fold out of the way to, you know, approximately, you know, something like that. So it won't mess with these inputs, and I'll be able to kind of, you know, angle them, you know, any which way. And again, this is just for early mornings if I need some light or, you know, whatever, nighttime. We got our SAE to MC4 adapter. We got our 225 amp fuse. Fuse block is on its way today. So is the battery. The battery is like 3 days late. I got some 2-out cables just because. We got 30 amp extension cords. Here's some of the cables for the USBs. They have inline fuses in them. You know, why not? They came with it. So more fuses, more protection, better. We got ferrule kit. Obviously, any self-respecting electrician doing this kind of work is going to use ferrules. So we got that. We do also have the Bluetooth, Renogy powered Bluetooth module, and we have our terminal blocks. So that's pretty much it for what we have going on. The reason is this Reolink camera here. This is a Reolink Duo 3 Wi-Fi camera, and that's the main reason, that and Starlink. So we have our Starlink router, and we have our Starlink satellite, and this camera, and that's what we want to power with this solar generator. So our guys have signal up there. We have signal. We can watch, see what's going on. We can record. This is 16 megapixel. Great night vision, 180-degree field of view. Again, I'm not sponsored by Reolink. I'm not sponsored by Belt, Renogy, none of these guys. I did apply for a partnership with them because I am a master electrician, and I hope to be able to get some discounts on their product and offer them to my customers, get some things that way, or at least affiliate links. But Again, we're doing this to help people. We're not doing this to make money. This is all just one, to document, to showcase our son, who eventually will pass down and inherit all of this, and also to learn from you guys as much as we can also help hopefully teach you. So battery is 10 by 6 by 8, so it's going to go in here. I think once this is mounted up here, get the stand cord out the way. Once that's mounted here, we have plenty of room over there to get our cords plugged in. We got nice short cables over there for the cutoff, and we got nice space for the battery. Now I could tuck this charger up underneath in there where there's some dead space. There's all kinds of different ways we can do this, but that's part of why I got this stackable set. So I'll save you guys the trouble of watching us drill a bunch of holes just to go ahead and pop in things. But there's also these up here. I mean, you can pack all those with USB and have them all up here too. If you want USB all over there, you can have that. But we didn't do that because what we want to be able to do, what I want to be able to do, is take this and boom, boom, and then we're gonna have another one of these, and we're just gonna stack it right here. We lock it in with these locks, and then just 2 more batteries, Anderson connector from here to here, and we just tripled our battery capacity. So that's what we're thinking of doing. However, we do think 100 amp hours with the draw that I calculated, I think we're gonna be okay. If it doesn't last all the way through the night, it's okay. It's gonna last the majority. If we have some shady days, we'll definitely be fine on hot, humid days. So that is it for now. Again, purpose of it was for this camera and our Starlink to get our guys some power, to have Wi-Fi, to be able to contact us so I can tune in and watch when I'm not there, as I live pretty far away. And also we're building a little temp cabin / shed up there, construction shed, you know, on the nights I need to stay there for, you know, the concrete pour and doing the electrical and things like that. So that's another thing. When we do the concrete pour with radiant floor heating, a lot of people don't think about this type of thing, but you need to temp a manifold up and power that, you know, pressure that thing up to like 50 psi while they're pouring, because these guys are gonna step on things, they're gonna step on rocks, whatever. If any of those tubes get punctured and you don't find out about it, you're gonna be in a world of hurt later. So comes with coupling kits, things like that. You want to watch that happen. As it happens, you'll see the concrete bubbling. You'll know there's a leak. You can go repair it, dig it up, repair it real quick before it's set and it becomes a problem. As long as that pressure holds, the concrete hardens, you can undo the temp manifold and you're good to go. So anyways, that's about it for that. We're going to stop it there, try to keep it pretty short. I'm not going to spare you guys I'll spare you guys all the details of all this, but I'm going to go ahead and cut in a couple progress shots of where we temped up this DC fuse box and we temped up a light, and we just kind of were showcasing what's going on there. So that's the goal. We're still waiting. Hopefully FedEx called, said they couldn't figure out where to go, but I don't know how not they show up here every damn day. So we get the battery today, and then we will go from there, and we'll show you the finalized install as well as turn it on for the first time and go from there. Thanks.